Today I'm talking to Elisabeth Gilmore, Associate Professor in Climate Change Technology and Policy at Carlton University, IPCC, lead author, and Senior Science Advisor in the Science and Technology branch at Environment and Climate Change in Canada. I am talking to her in honor of World Engineering Day. Hi, Professor Gilmore. Thanks so much for talking to me today.
Oh, a happy engineering day to you too.
Thank you. In the 2021 IPCC report, it says climate change is already happening. What changes are you most concerned about?
So the reports were really clear. Climate change is happening now, and we're worried about a wide range of adverse effects that are mostly we're going to experience through changes in extreme weather events and longer climate extremes. So examples are like more punishing heat waves, right? They're hotter and they're longer. In some places, drought. In other places, precipitation patterns that are going to lead to flooding. The wildfires in the West, sea level rise, storm surge. In fact, our reports say that even in the near term, there's almost no place on Earth that won't be touched by climate change.
What is environmental engineering and how can it help fight these changes?
Environmental engineering is like all forms of engineering. It's about creative problem solving and trying to make meaningful changes in how we get to live our lives and, for the better. Environmental engineering, on one hand, can be about trying to moderate damages that we've already done. It can also be, and increasingly is, about figuring out how we work with nature to come up with better solutions. And that's really how environmental engineering can help fight a lot of these changes. It's not just trying to deal with the damages that we've done, it's trying to figure out how to get nature to help us.
Yeah. The IPCC report talked about how bad things will get. Have the changes this year, like Pakistan being in one third underwater, surprised you at all with how quickly things are getting worse?
It's a really tough question. I mean, I think our hearts go out to people all around the world whose lives, whose safety and health and well-being and ways of life are potentially becoming even irreversibly affected by climate change. But the IPCC reports have been clear for a long time, right? This wasn't unexpected. Um, but what we see now is, in fact, just how devastating some of these changes can be, but also hopefully really a call that it underscores how urgent it is that we take action.
Yeah. The report you worked on describes how environmental engineering has already provided solutions to climate change. The trick is that we're not putting the changes in place fast enough. Why are we doing so badly with implementing these solutions? And how can we get everyone, and especially governments and industries, to act faster?
Yeah, that's a really big question, and I think it's knowing what we know about the science. And as a climate scientist, it can feel really, really difficult to look at the pace of action and feel that it's commensurate with what is needed. Now, there's a lot of solutions out there, though, and there's solutions that look increasingly attractive. We saw in the reports that the cost of solar panels, the cost of wind energy has gone down even faster than we expected. Nature-based solutions as well. They present opportunities to do things in ways that not just help us with climate change, but make other aspects of our lives better as well, right? Helping us be closer and more engaged with nature. And so I think as we start to continue to press on these solutions, it becomes it becomes more obvious, more easier to adopt them. But I think we have to keep up with indicating and being really loud sometimes, indicating that these are the solutions that we're looking for, the solutions that we want.
Yeah. What are some of the environmental engineering projects people are working on right now that you are most excited about? Sorry.
Well, there are so many things that engineers and environmental engineers are working on. Some of them are about making these alternative energy sources better, making them less expensive, finding new materials to use. Um, some of the things that are really close to my heart, though, are the ones that really engage with nature, right? Instead of just thinking about just trying to fix the things that we've already done harm to, it's thinking about how to use that to make it into something that can help us. And we see examples like this all along coastlines now, right? So we think that instead of trying to build a big seawall, right, to try to protect us, instead, we can think about changing that coast, making that coast back into something more natural. And as a result, then that coast can really help protect us.
Yeah. They say that the world needs 1 billion climate activists right now. What do you think kids can do to help?
When we talk about things that make me feel so hopeful, it is how active kids, youth have really been over the last couple of years, and it has made such a difference. So much of a difference that in our scientific report, we were able to find evidence of how effective the voices of youth and kids have been as far as moving things forward. Now, I know it can feel slow, and I also know that it can feel complicated, right? It's hard to figure out what people are doing, but we did find evidence of how much a difference these voices were making. And we called you in the report, we called you agents of change. And I say just keep it up, keep it loud, and keep it as part of a huge discussion about the future that you want, because it will be your future.
Do you have hope that we can save our planet?
I do. And I don't mean that in a simple way. I mean that as somebody who is very informed about all the damages that we will already have to be managing. And also someone who, I read about this all the time, and sometimes it makes me feel incredibly sad, you know. Um, but I also know that we can imagine another world. And that world, the one that we also outlined in our IPCC report, is one that is more equitable, one that is more just, one that has us living with nature. These are big changes, and so they can be hard to imagine. And so sometimes you go, it's really hard to make those changes. But I feel hopeful, first of all, because I do think that we can articulate a better world. And I think if we can, then I think all of us, kids, youth, parents, I think all of us can start to really engage on how to get there.
Yep. Thanks so much for talking to me today, Dr. Gilmore. And remember, together kids can save the world. Please like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. It was fun. Bye.